anyways, we're talking about this today. So what are these vertical lines called? Absolute values. And what do they do?
They make it positive.
Okay, the definition of absolute, make it positive. The definition of absolute value is how far is that number from 0? So how far is negative 5 from 0? 5. How far is 5 from 0?
Plus or minus
5.
No.
Okay, you're thinking of something. The next part.
No.
That's the next part. Absolute value of x equals 5. What could x be?
Plus or minus 5.
Could be positive 5, could be negative 5. So x equals plus or minus 5. Okay, is this ringing some bells?
No.
So
I mean,
far?
a little bit. It's like kind of there.
Kind of ringing. Okay, so let's amp it up a little bit. What if I stick with the 5 theme? Do that. How do I figure that out? Just add 1, divide by 2?
No, you have to do the absolute value before. So it'd be 2x plus 1.
No.
You have to do both ways.
What do you mean both ways,
Like
Shannon?
negative 5.
Right. Everything in here could equal 5, right? Or it could equal negative 5. Does that make sense? So it's 2x minus 1 could equal 5. Because either way, if this is 5 or negative 5, it'll end up being 5. Or 2x minus 1 equals negative 5. And then you solve them separately, you get 2 answers. So just really quick here, add 1, we get 2x equals 6, so x is 3. Or add 1, we get 2x equals negative 4, so x is negative 2. Okay, so we get these 2 answers. Now, do they both work? What's 2 times 3 minus 1? 5. Or if I plug in negative 2, what's 2 times negative 2? 4 minus 1, negative 5. And that works, right? So you got 2 answers. So it's not always going to be like plus or minus. That could happen, but do you guys get it? So this is really the key step right here. It equals this number or its opposite. Before I forget, what's wrong with this statement? It's impossible to be a negative. So there's one odd and one even of these. So this would be like no solution. Got to run that weird one. Okay, how about this?
Add the 1.
It goes down 1.
Okay, we want to get the absolute value by itself first so we can use that trick up there. So yeah, get rid of the minus 1. Then we have absolute value of 2x equals 6. So that means 2x could equal what? 6 or negative 6. So yeah, when you divide by 2, you get 3 or negative 3. So this one is a plus or minus 3. Okay, you guys got it? Okay. That's not quite everything, but that'll get us going. All right, number 1, it says interpret absolute value of x equals 6 in terms of distance and then graph the solution set. So what does absolute value of x equals 6 mean, like as a distance thing? It means that x has to be 6 units from 0. X is 6 units from 0. So what does that mean x could equal? If it's 6 units from 0, what could x equal? 6 or negative 6. So how do we graph that? We just put a dot at negative 6 and 6. Did they write it the same way I did? X is 6 units from 0 on the number line. Pretty close. All right. Number 2, they show the graph and they want you to write it as an absolute value. So they put a dot at 4, negative 4. So what would that be as an absolute value? absolute value of
X equals.
x is equal to 4. Is that the horn again?
Yes.
Sound like a scream that
So
time.
funny every time.
I wonder if Mr. Smith's like,
You're probably.
who's in the hall there?
Okay,
Okay, number 3, here we're jumping in. Do you have any volunteers for tribute? All right, hopeful. What do we got?
Is it +/-8?
Plus or minus 8. You don't really have to do any work on that one, but
Do we have to write the x equals, or can we just do plus or minus?
I don't care, I guess. Okay, on number 5, you don't necessarily have to write the problem down on this one, but let's go ahead and write the stuff after that. Olivia, do you know how this will set up? Yep. Yeah. And then, of course, we have to add 3. So you're going to get x equals 10 or...
You have to show it right.
Yeah, let's start showing our work on. You don't necessarily have to write the problem down, but just show a little bit of work. Ava, how would we set up 7? It's a little bit weird, but go ahead. Huh? No, it's not no solution.
Well, x minus 6 equals 0. Would it be or x plus 6 equals 0?
No. It'd be or x minus 6 equals -0. Now, is there any difference between 0 and -0? No. So this one is only going to have one answer. So it's kind of a unique one when there's equal to 0. So x equals... Number 9. We didn't talk about this yet, but it's not too much to it. They're asking for the distance and the midpoint of these two numbers. I'll explain why in a second. So how do I find the distance between these two? Subtract, right? 37 minus 11 is 26. Well, what if I subtracted backwards though? If I did 11 minus 37? -26. So the reason they're throwing this in here is because you subtract and just use the absolute value. You make it positive. There are no negative distances. Okay, so the distance is just 26. Anyway, I'll just put equals D for the distance. Okay, the other question is, what's the midpoint? How do we find out what number is right in the middle of those two? There's a couple ways to do it. One of them is definitely easier than that. Average. That's the easiest way to do it. Find out what's right in the middle. So you add those two numbers together and then you divide by 2. So 11, that'd be 48 divided by 2. 24 is the midpoint. Okay, number 11, -3, -20. Okay, you might be able to figure that out without actually subtracting. How far is it from -3 to -20? 17. Yeah, it's -3. If you show your work, it would look like that. -3 minus -20 is plus 20, so it'd be 17 for the distance. And the midpoint, -3 plus -20 divided by 2. -23 divided by 2. 22 divided by 2 is 11. So this would be -11.5. 5.
Is this gonna be a test?
Could be.
Why do you have to ask?
She
I
has to
just
say
expect it to be.
Just let her go.
Yeah, pretty much everything we do is gonna be on the test.
It's gonna be a long test.
Well, if you only did like a couple problems from each chapter, it could be really short, or each lesson, I mean.
So that's not everything.
Hmm?
It's not technically everything. Because it's not every problem.
No, it depends on how you look at it. No, it's not every problem. Okay, 13. I think it shall be. 5x minus 2 equals 12. All right, Shelby, how do we set that one up?
5x minus 2 equals 12.
Yeah, dang it, it's not working. And then just, come on now. Basic. Use some basic algebra after that. What's 14 divided by 5? Okay, 15. 8x plus 3 plus 7. All right, Willow, what do you think we should do first on this one? Minus 7. You want to get the absolute value by itself first, if it's not already. So maybe it slows down because I have so much on this smartboard. Yeah, that's the problem. We'll get it in a fresh page, see if that helps. Now what?
Is that? Okay, then it's 8x plus 3 equals. Wait, no, it can't, never mind. It can't be, it's no solution.
Okay, she caught it. And then, anybody else catch it? Okay, there's a no-no, there's a problem with this one. Is it possible for an absolute value to equal negative? No, so this one is no solution. So that was the odd no solution. There's an even somewhere out there. There goes my YouTube video. As long as it's-
Oh, we're going back to recording that.
So I did part where you're
I'm singing.
singing. Just post 2 videos.
Because the song got get copyrighted.
Last year, you hummed the Five Nights at Freddy's song, so we went back.
5 Nights at Freddy's, I don't
Yep,
know what
yep.
that is.
Well, you did.
It was
so
like the
we
beat
went
song.
back- We went back and recorded it, and now we have a file of you singing. It's very low quality, but
Okay.
What's it better than
What's 5 Nights at Freddy?
basically you spend 5 nights at Freddy's place.
Pretty Fazbear's.
Yeah.
It's like a game.
Yeah.
I like
it's
singing.
This has to be in your guys' head because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Nah, you did it.
It's like you said something else.
Go ahead, sing it.
Yeah, hum before. No.
Oh, I knew it from something else.
Yeah.
Is it the Jack and the Beanstalk song?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's from when I was like 8 years old watching the Disney Channel. I still remember it.
We're gonna get that.
We got it.
Yeah.
They're singing about eating all the food from the giant Jack and Beanstalk. And Grumpy.
I've eaten everything.
Goofy's like talking about the Smishmashios because he can't say pistachios. Anyways, moving on. Forrest, what should we do first on this one?
Well, it's not. Well, actually, no, it's not.
What do we do first?
What you got? Superman.
Okay, we want to get the absolute value by itself first. So how do I get rid of this -2?
Oh, can you divide it?
Divide it, yeah. This is a multiplied. Can we use distributive property here? No, because it's not a parentheses. Absolute value is different. So you divide by -2,
Oh,
and then we're gonna get x plus 4 equals +1/2. So there is no problem. Now what?
oh yeah, it's
Why did you record me singing that? You guys have.
we
Your-
went and recorded the YouTube section.
Oh, you got a recording of a recording?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty low.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's what?
X plus 4 equals 1/2, y plus 4 equals negative.
So if you subtract 4, you get x is -3.5 or -4.5. Yoink. Floating away. Caden, what can we do inside the absolute value on 19?
Back terms. So 7a minus 7.
Okay, you put those a's together, make 7a minus 7 minus 6. Okay, now what should we do?
Add the 6 to the other side. So
Now?
what?
What now?
Now we just make it.
What's up? Kind of sloppy Joe here.
This is a pretty good math.
You approve.
Pretty good math.
This is Grant approved.
Yeah.
Well, right as you say that, we
It's
get to
pretty
the
hard.
tricky one.
What's 0 divided by something?
Right as we get to that, Grant, you get the tricky one. Oh, it's Eli.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's 0 divided by something? Is that 1?
No, 0. 0 cut up into 5 pieces is 0.
True.
Or stuff like your no
Okay, well, I haven't done this as an example yet, so this is new to you guys. Does anybody guess or want to guess what comes first, Eli? Add 3x. It's not that different than what we've been doing. It's pretty kind of close. But the difference is there's an x outside the absolute value, so that changes a little bit. And those don't mix over there. Eli, you want to guess what we're going to do now?
So do you do 2x plus 5 equals 27 plus 3x, or 2x plus 5 is equal to negative 27 minus 3x?
Yes. Yes, see what it
Now
is?
you're a genius.
So he just put the negative on the right side, on the second one. And we got 2 problems to solve. I am going to 2x. And add it on this one. It gets warm in here. Might be the pace. Did you just take credit for it being warm in here?
I did. I was given credit.
From who, Shane?
Who else?
Mine, I don't know what to do. Me either.
Okay. Hold on, there's an issue with this one though. You guys get those numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, if I plug in negative 22, let's see what happens. I get negative 44 plus 5 is negative 39, but the absolute value turns it to 39. And then on this side, 3 times negative 22 is negative 66. 27 minus 66 is negative 39.
Is it no solution?
Well, it's not no solution.
So it's.
This one is they call it extraneous, like an answer that's not actually work. Okay, that happens sometimes when you have an X over here. So I'll just tell you though that 20, they do both work, but on 22, one of them does not work. So you gotta throw one of them away.
That's,
No.
It's not that bad, just plug it in,
plug it back in.
plug it in, see if it works. So this one actually only has one answer.
This is true match.
I'm drawing a monk, so.